Got to get out. You can't sit home. If you're sick as a dog, you say, darling, I got to make it. Even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it.
That's Donald Trump speaking in Iowa over the weekend, telling his supporters, even if you're sick and going to die, you should cast your primary vote for him in Iowa. That is why we call it a actual death cult, folks. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. When Donald Trump gave this speech over the weekend, he also said that the GOP, the Republican Party, is now dead. He said it is 95% MAGA. Play this clip.
And left-wing globalist Wall Street, millionaires and billionaires who crave to destroy the MAGA movement. People are not happy with MAGA because MAGA's taking over. MAGA's, you know, when you hear the fake news when they say, well, MAGA represents 44% of the Republican. No, MAGA represents 95% of the Republican Party. Whenever you hear this stuff.
Well, if it is 95% MAGA, then wouldn't we expect 95% of support in the primary in Iowa, where, according to the latest poll, the support's under 50%, and New Hampshire, where I suspect you're going to lose. Next up, Donald Trump talks about building an iron dome. That's one of the things. He went from wall to build an iron dome over the United States of America. I mean, just beyond idiotic. Play this clip.
And that very soon. One of the things we're going to do on one of my platforms that people don't pick up as much as they should, though, but we're going to build an iron dome over our country because we want to protect ourselves. We're giving other countries, we give iron domes to other countries, but we don't do it. It'll all be made in the USA, you know.
Next, Donald Trump says that the reason the economy is doing well now is it's based on his fumes. Again, I don't think he should be using the term fumes, but here he is saying it. Play this clip.
You've never done so well, and anything left over, like you see the fumes, it's the fumes of the Trump administration. That's the only thing that's keeping this Biden thing a little bit alive, because their numbers are no good except for the stock market. They have terrible inflation numbers still. But the stock market, that's the fumes of what we did, and the fact that I'm leading every poll. If I weren't leading every poll, the stock market would crash. And I'll tell you what, if we don't win, I believe you'll have a depression the likes of 1929, because there's no reason for this to happen. There's no reason what's going on right now. I think the fact that I'm leading in the polls is what's keeping the stock market up, because I stand for everything that the stock market should be standing for, and it's very important. And I think if you saw numbers go down, which you haven't seen, it's been a steady rise up. Everyone's waiting. When will it happen? Well, maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it's been like this right from the beginning. But that's what's keeping the stock market up, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying that I stood up for Iowa ethanol and issued a
I mean, as completely petty and disingenuous and bizarre as you can get. And again, he's just so jealous of what President Biden's been able to accomplish here. Donald Trump refers to the judge presiding over the E. Jean Carroll defamation case this week as an animal. Play this clip.
Fake indictment, totally fake. I have the worst judge in the whole country. They said, if you got this judge, you have no chance. I got that judge. Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked. I got the right judge. I got one in New York that's beautiful. My wife's mother, who was an incredible woman, a great beauty inside and out, incredible woman. She just died. And my wife is very devastated by that. And I have a trial going on, a fake trial, a totally fake trial. And we asked the judge if I could take a day off for a funeral of my mother-in-law, who was very close to me also. And he said, no. Can you imagine? These are animals. Can you imagine that, Nigel? That wouldn't even happen in your country, right? He said, no, we can't have a day off. These are bad people. These are radical left lunatics that want to hurt me because they think it's going to hurt me at the polls so that Biden can win an election. I don't think the people are going to fall for it. But think of that. Can I have a day off? I'd like to go to the... So my wife is going to be standing at the funeral of her mother, who is a very special woman. It's not like... This was a very special, incredible woman. And so she's supposed to stand there alone. Now, I'll be there. One way or the other, I'll be there. But what a disgrace that a judge would not say, yes, we can take a day off. There's no rush. You know, all of these indictments, they could have done them 3 years ago.
And again, it's the exact same playbook. Donald Trump whining that the judge isn't going to let me testify. The judge is not letting me speak. It's the same thing. The judge is letting you speak. The judge noted that even though you're blaming the death of Melania's mother-in-law for the reason why you can't show up, you've scheduled a campaign event for the night before on one of the days you've requested the continuances for in New Hampshire, the judge noted in his order. And the judge actually said, if you want to testify, you can come in on Monday, the next Monday, and testify then, and we'll accommodate your testimony. And you didn't show up at the first trial at all. And this case is just about damages. Here, Donald Trump then says that he probably wouldn't be there if he hadn't fired Comey. Play this clip.
Comey, I did a lot of things. This is a man right there that, no, we did a lot of things. Getting rid of Comey was a great thing. It was a wonderful thing. And, lucky we did. We might not be standing here right now. They had some bad plans, but that didn't work out too well for them. And now, look at us. We're leading. By the way, we're leading in the polls by a lot, not just this.
Next up, Donald Trump talks about, he blames his supporters for the fake elector slates and then starts going into this bizarre cognitively impaired thing about Thomas Jefferson loves slates. Play this clip.
Challenged the election, Billy Ray. He challenged the election. How dare we have to indict him? He challenged the election. They talk about slates. I had nothing to do with slates, but patriots had to do with slates. And they indict him. Thomas Jefferson did slates. They've been slates all over. On Alabama, which I want.
Trump using Hitler rhetoric again and saying that immigrants are diseased. Play the clip.
The snake, that's our border. We're taking in people from prisons. We're taking in people from mental institutions. We're taking in murderers and drug lords. We're taking in people that are very, very sick with diseases that will be spread all over our nation.
Trump gets heckled. Play the clip.
And I did three rallies.
You've taken millions.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all right. Go home to mommy. Your mommy's working. Go home to mommy.
Trump gets heckled again. Play the clip.
Donald Trump claims to speak for my generation. He is sold out by oil and gas billionaires. Our homes are burning. Our homes are flooding. Please, will you fight
It's so amazing to be here with
And here, Donald Trump demonstrates both cognitive decline and what a disgusting human being he is. And he says that for these reasons, Jimmy Carter is probably a very happy man right now. Play this clip.
I always say Jimmy Carter's the happiest man alive right now, and it's good because he's somewhat elderly, right? Somewhat. My wife went to the funeral of Rosalind 2 months ago. It was a beautiful funeral. But Jimmy Carter's a happy man right now because people are considering, compared to Biden, his presidency to be a brilliant.
If you're like most people on planet Earth, you enjoy a good cup of coffee. I just found a new product to put in my coffee that has all these awesome benefits called 4Wellness. You have to try it out. This podcast is sponsored by 4Wellness. 4Wellness is a functional food brand with a unique range of snacks and supplements that are designed to help you get the most out of your body and mind. Their best-selling product, The Good Stuff, is a performance coffee supplement that supercharges the natural benefits of your coffee with just one scoop. Enjoy better focus, reduce the caffeine jitters, increase your collagen, and support fat burning with the power of The Good Stuff's 5 key ingredients: L-theanine, collagen, MCT, cinnamon, and Himalayan salt. On top of that, The Good Stuff helps you ditch the bad stuff like sugar, dairy, and artificial creamers. 4Wellness was founded by world-renowned performance coach Dave Phillips, who's worked with some of the world's highest-performing athletes because he saw his athletes struggling with their health and in need of a simple, delicious way to get functional ingredients into their daily routines. Now, Dave is bringing his unique insight from the pro sports world to you with 4Wellness. I already talk about coffee enough with my brothers and annoy them by going on and on and on. And guess what? Now I get to do that twice as much by bragging about my 4Wellness every day. It not only tastes great, but it makes me feel great as well. 4Wellness also offers superfood focus bites. A delicious snack that literally tastes like a chocolate brownie, except it's made from nootropics like lion's mane, mushroom, and cacao. It also has amazing benefits like fighting inflammation and supporting brain and gut health. Plus, they offer tart cherry recovery gummies, which help combat muscle soreness, coffee pods, and more amazing products that you could work into your daily routine. And 4Wellness offers a 60-day money-back guarantee, so what do you have to lose? So, if you drink coffee, it's time to give 4Wellness a try. Head to 4wellness.com/Meidas and use code Meidas for 25% off your order. Once again, that's 4wellness.com/MEIDAS for 25% off, and make sure to use my promo code Meidas so they know I sent you.
Donald Trump attacks his primary opponent, Nikki Haley, saying her money comes from globalists. This is kind of Donald Trump's anti-Semitic dog whistles. Play this clip.
In the next short period of time, but she's starting to fade as people find out, and she's got some really bad money behind her. She's got Democrats financing her in New Hampshire. She's got Koch, who's a globalist, total globalist. He's fighting her. It's funny. He said he had...
Donald Trump praises MAGA fanatics who stole a podium belonging to Ron DeSantis. Play this clip.
Still got millions of more votes than we did the first time. But I'm looking at a man in the back. I tell you what, I watched Ron DeSanctimonious getting ready to speak about 6 months ago. He was on a stage with your governor, and your very loyal governor, who's now the least popular governor in the country. And they were getting ready to speak, and it was very interesting. Two young men, they looked like they came out of the Wharton School of Finance. Very handsome, guys, obviously from Iowa. He was standing back, and somebody was introducing him. And do you remember this? And they walked up, and they took the podium like this. They were the coolest cats I've ever seen. They weren't like sneaking up, right? They walked on the stage, just lifted everything up, and they just walked off with it, two guys. And the governor was screaming, "You took our podium." And DeSanctimonious is screaming, my podium. They're standing here with that. And they walked off. And then if you watched it a little longer, you see them, they walked around, and you could see them backstage. Well, they just stole the podium. They took it away. I'm dying to find those two guys because I'd love to shake their hand. I don't know if they're in the room. Are they in the room? I don't know. Nobody knows who they are. It was one of the coolest acts I've ever seen in politics. So if you would spread the word, I've never done this before, spread the word. I said, I'm going to Iowa, I have to find those two guys, okay? So please look for them. Madam Attorney General, you can do it better than anybody if you put the full...
Donald Trump spreads more election conspiracies. Play the clip.
2020 election rigging scam like our country has never seen before. We did much better in 2020 than we did in 2016. It's pretty amazing. Got more votes than any sitting president in history. Think of that. We lost by a whisker, just by a little whisker. Those printing presses were moving that night.
Donald Trump says that President Biden is clobbering Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. Play the clip.
Biden is clobbering Nikki Haley. She's killing Nikki Haley in the polls, and she's also beating DeSantis in the polls.
A speaker at this event who introduced Donald Trump said that the country owes a debt of gratitude to Donald Trump because we wouldn't even be talking about how women's reproductive freedom has been taken away if it wasn't for Donald Trump getting Roe v. Wade overturned. And that's why we should praise Donald Trump, the speaker says. Play the clip.
And when those people talk to you about these tweets, as an employer myself, I look at job performance. We wouldn't even be having the conversation in regards to pro-life and banning abortions in this country. We wouldn't have this because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a person that put those people in the judgeships throughout the United States, but most importantly in the Supreme Court. It is someone that I truly believe.
Then a protest broke out. Play the clip.
It always has excitement.
And then speaking on the same day, here's former Arkansas governor, an actual conservative, Asa Hutchinson. And Asa Hutchinson's asked about the Republican Party and Trump's statements that the Republican Party no longer exists and it's full MAGA. And Asa Hutchinson says that's a big problem, that the Republican Party's been destroyed. And look, do I disagree with Asa Hutchinson on probably mostly everything. Yes. But when I hear someone speak rational and reasoned like this, I think this is someone who at the very bare minimum understands the threat Trump poses to democracy, maybe for a slight moment in time. But here's what ASA Hutchinson says. And I mean, listen to it for yourself. Play this clip.
But Donald Trump has remade your party. How do you define who your supporters are?
Well, first of all, you're correct. He has redefined the Republican Party, and not in a good way. And whenever you look at what I'm trying to do is draw attention to the fact that Donald Trump is a weak candidate for us going into the general election. I think the CBS poll that you cited today reflects that. The one person that ought to enjoy that poll is Joe Biden, with Trump having that kind of a lead in the primary. My responsibility and other candidates is to take on the front runner if you don't agree that he's the right one. We've been doing that, and there might be a short-term price for that, but long-term fear-mongering and grievances only take you so far. And so that is the sign of a weak candidate as you go further into this election year. So the voice is critically important to alert people that we can't mislead our voters and say January 6th was somehow a patriotic act. It was an attack on our Capitol, the rule of law, and Congress. And we cannot buy into that misleading by Donald Trump.
And again, I don't want to normalize any of this behavior. And the reason that we cover these events, the reason that I spend entire days watching these speeches is to sound the alarm in place of other media that's failed in the task and affirmatively amplifies Donald Trump's propaganda. It's important that we take a look at it, but that we fact check it, that we express the danger and the threat that this poses, and we don't treat what you just observed as being normal. That's why I refer to these events as traveling fascist circus things that Donald Trump calls rallies, and the language that Donald Trump uses and his conduct is dangerous. And as I say, MAGA equals fascism plus idiocracy. And we're watching it there. It's why I view things as not liberal and progressive versus conservative. That's not how I see it anymore. That's not the dynamic that exists today. It's pro-democracy, liberal, progressives, independents, mainstream Republicans or former Republicans, actual conservatives who have joined together and said, look, we probably have a lot of disagreements on a lot of things, but when it comes to the fundamentals of our country, when it comes to democracy and freedom, we all recognize the threat that is posed by MAGA, which Trump, in his own words, says is now 95% of the Republican Party. And that's the one thing that I think Donald Trump probably has undercounted. I think the Republican Party is now fully MAGA. And then there are Republicans who are maybe on the fence, but if mainstream Republicans are part of a broader pro-democracy coalition, the others have gone full MAGA. Please tell me what you think in the comments. I want to read your comments, so share them with me. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're very close to 2 million subscribers, so please subscribe. Thank you so much. And if you want to support journalism like this, you can go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch as well. Have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.